everyone, this video is a short video for my students at my high school of covering how to use tape as a resist when glazing a ceramic piece. We're getting ready to glaze our raku pieces, and the tape can be used in a decorative manner to keep glaze off of a certain area, because with raku firing, where you don't have glaze, it'll turn that deep gray or black because of the smoke that is so characteristic of raku firing. But the tape can also be used in non-raku applications. So this is just stoneware. Tape was applied to the bisque-fired piece before I glazed it. You can also use tape on top of a glaze, like if you're going to use a variety of colors, you could glaze it, put tape on, and then glaze over the tape again, and then you get a contrast. Now the tape that I'm using, I will link in the video description if you're interested. This is just electrical tape found at a regular hardware store. I also have whiteboard tape, which I randomly found on Amazon. And then I also have some pinstriping, automotive pinstriping tape. I find that all of these work really well, as opposed to, say, a Scotch type tape. Masking tape does not work. It just peels off on our pieces. You can also use non-tape things, such as little things that you might commonly have, like these little vinyl type reinforcements, or if you have old bumper stickers or contact paper, you can cut shapes out and you can use that. I have found that my students have the most success with doing tape resist on bisque fired pieces. If you are rinsing your bisque fired piece, I would recommend allowing it to dry maybe a day, like rinse it one day and then you can do the tape resist on the next day when it has lost some of the moisture. If you have moisture in the clay, the tape won't stick. That's why I usually tell the kids with leather hard pieces that we don't usually try it. Some people might have luck doing it with leather hard, but in my classes, I tell the kids not to. So the first thing that I have the kids do is when they are doing tape resist is you can draw it out in pencil first if you would like, because if you draw it in pencil, you have a guide of where you're planning on putting it. On this piece, I'm going to make some horizontal bands, and I'm going to use a trick that I often use with creating something that is a nice even line, and that is I'm going to just kind of make a jig with a tool, and by locking the pencil or whatever it is that you're using, by locking it in place, it will help you to create a nice even line. All right, I have some lines on here, and I do have one that I'm going to ignore. That's this one. I decided I wanted to space it out differently than that. Students, you will find that I have tape and a variety of other things in the bag in the room. You can use things such as the little vinyl reinforcements. I have some sticker paper in there that you can cut out some shapes, or I have the variety of tape too, wider, like the electrical tape, thinner electrical tape, the whiteboard tape, and then I also have some very thin pinstriping tape. I just ask that you be careful with it and not try to get it tangled up. Application of the tape is pretty straightforward. I recommend that your hands are clean when you do it so the tape adheres well, and have a pair of scissors handy. Don't stretch it to try to break it, but please cut it neatly and try to keep it, again, somewhat organized so it doesn't get tangled for the next person. And when you're done with the application, you want to check it. Now, if you happen to have anything like I have right here, where I have a little piece where it didn't quite lay flat, I can take an X-Acto and trim that away. It will be noticeable if you have little corners that are showing. Sometimes you just can't get the edge of it to lay super flat. Okay, and last step is to make sure that it's really touching the piece. I want to make sure I don't have any wrinkles and stuff. Okay, And this is going to be ready for glazing, and I'll glaze right over it. And when I'm done glazing and it's fully dry, then I can remove the tape. And usually when I go to remove it, I'll have to make a little cut to slice the tape to peel it off. And here I'm going to be doing the same technique, but this is going to be a piece with stoneware glaze. Again, I'm creating a jig by holding a pencil against a stationary tool and turning the pot to make my lines, and then I'm applying the tape in the same manner, making sure that my hands are clean, and trim off any excess with the X-Acto knife if you need to. And then I have poured the inside with white and the rim with white. Now I'm applying the glaze by dipping the exterior, and I'm just dipping up to that line, and this is with a Cobalt, Coyote Cobalt blue. And after that's dry, I'm going over that with 3 layers of violet. So make sure that you're drying it between layers. And when it's dry, you can remove the tape. I'm cutting it with an X-Acto and peeling it off. It is quite messy because the glaze chips off where it was on top of the tape. So make sure that you're able to catch that glaze debris so it doesn't go on the floor. And here's the example of the tape resist with the couple different sizes of tape that I used. You can use tape resist on things besides raku. You can use it on regular glaze as well. Depending on the tape, you might even be able to put it on top of a glaze if you're going to do another glaze. This one was just on top of the clay body though.